Hello guys, how you doing tonight? Well, today, wherever you are, um, I'm just going to show you some more moon observations I've gathered over the past couple of days. I was just showing you a wee clip there from the 8th and 9th, because I caught a shot of the Aldebaran star. Crazy, it was really bright and it was right beside the moon. I thought it was Jupiter at first. And I looked it up and it's Aldebaran. That's our old North Star, apparently. So that was pretty cool. So I just thought I'd show you again, because when I look back at my hangout, it wasn't there. So anyway, how was all doing? You smell that? Smell that, guys? What's that smell? It's revolution. I can feel it, guys. I can feel there's something going on. There's a lot of people discussing this moon thing, and like it or not, I kind of take some credit for that. Simple. Quite a few people. This has agitated quite a few people. You think that being flat earthers, they'd be quite happy, but nah, because it doesn't suit the narrative. It's hilarious. I just watched Dell tonight on Beyond the Shed. It was probably the dullest, most boring. They just ran out of things to say and they just started repeating stuff they were talking about last week, like chemtrails. There seems to be a big push on chemtrails right now. I might just have a whole hangout just talking about these stupid chemtrails, because that's a psyop on its own. That's a psyop that's been created for many years, longer than the flat Earth. It's more sophisticated. Obviously, these trails create clouds, but it's not spraying poison and all this rubbish. It's total fear-mongering coming from. There is a conspiratard breed growing, and you're starting to see it in flat Earth, the way it's splitting up to now. You're seeing who actually appreciates observable evidence. It doesn't matter if it doesn't prove the ball or the flat Earth. The fact of the matter is it evidence of some kind? And it is. I'm providing evidence, and people don't like it. Poncho Pete made a whole hangout the other night there. He's made the past few hangouts screaming about me, Timmy, and John LeBon. He's an idiot. He's a total clown. And like I said, he is a professional clown. He said last night he's paid to fool people. And that's what he's doing. He's just a clown. He's running flat Earth into the ground. That idiot. Everything he uses as an example of flat Earth is a joke. It's a total joke. So he's going downhill big style. People are watching him just to laugh at him. Not laugh with him, not agree with him. People are just watching him just to watch the breakdown. People are watching the breakdown of Poncho. And Dell's offering nothing new. Same again, it's like they take this stand. It's a safe stand. It's a cowardly stand. If you just want to object every piece of evidence that's presented, you're being ignorant. I wouldn't mind at all if the evidence I gathered of the moon confirmed the flat Earth. It proved the flat Earth. I would show it just as much. I would probably become one of the biggest flat Earth YouTubers on this if I could prove that. Why wouldn't I? I'll be like the flat Earth savior if I could prove this moon. But the thing is, guys, it doesn't. And this has been worked out for a long time. I don't know what is it. There must be something putting us back the way. Our brains are reversing, guys. The way we use logic. Even, no offense to the Lie Ohio and certain people, but they're so entwined with the flat Earth that if you present something like a lunar eclipse, and a lunar eclipse is predictable, guys. Something you can predict. You can repeat the prediction all over the world. And like clockwork, you can predict these lunar eclipses and where you can see them on the planet. Who can see a full one? Who can see a shaded one? You can predict it all with the lunar eclipse. What you can't predict is things like the Selenian moon or the blood moon. Do you see the blood moon every time you see a full moon? You don't. It's just a rare phenomena. And just because you see the blood moon once, it doesn't mean the moon's made out of blood cells or something like that. It's just a rare phenomenon that's happened through light refraction. It's just a rare phenomena. And it's the same with the selenium. When the moon's supposed to be in shade and there's some light getting onto it, it's just a rare phenomena that's the scattering of the light off the atmosphere. You've got to remember, guys, Earth isn't just a solid piece of land in space casting a solid shadow. You've got to remember it is almost contained in a bubble. It's like land inside a bubble. So when the light hits it, it's going to, the land part of the bubble will block most of the light. But you've got to remember there's an edge of atmosphere, and the light's going to scatter off it and hit the moon sometimes. Sometimes it doesn't, because it's just a rare phenomena. It depends on the angle. You can't predict it. So why chuck all your hope in the selenium eclipse? A rare thing that you can't predict, you can't repeat. It can only be explained through rare phenomenon, light refraction, really. And when you say refraction to the flat Earth, it just gets rejected. It's like, oh, another made-up word. So, but that's certain people just grasping at straws, and they won't get out. They won't get out and actually think about the lunar eclipse, not the selenium. That's just it's just a phenomena. So, anyway, guys, I hope you're having a good day, night, whatever it is. I'm going to be properly presenting my videos this time. I'm going to show you stuff from Marvin. I'm going to show you stuff from Jean. Mr. B done a beautiful video. Beautiful. I'll show you that, guys, but that's amazing moon footage. So I'll go through all these things, guys. We'll look at timeanddate.com. We'll look at some flat Earth models to see if it can match it or how it would work on a flat Earth, really. We can just look at a 3D model of flat Earth. The best concepts they have, really. We've already went through them. Rob Skiba's one, stuff like that. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. All the things we look at in the moon, the phases, the lunar eclipse, all these things don't work on a flat Earth. It's just simple as that. And if anyone can make a video to debunk that, go ahead. But the lunar eclipse, selenium, whatever, you can say what you want, but these are just phenomena, special phenomena. They're not predictable, they're not repeatable. So you can't apply the scientific method to it, really. You can apply the scientific method to the moon. You apply it every day, as long as the clouds, as long as you can see it. But you can predict it, and by what me and Marvin are doing right now, I'm in the northern hemisphere, the most northern part of the sphere, and Marvin's at the very bottom, and we're seeing it upside down and inverted. So it's just, to me, it's just the fact that we're seeing things upside down, inverted, can't work on a flat plane. And like I said, guys, we can call it a disc, we can call it a light, things like that, but they things don't work. They don't work according to the moon and what it's doing right now. And the features on the moon. I don't know how anyone can say the moon is a light, just a light. How can a light source have a shadow on it? Come on, guys. How can a light source just cast a shadow on itself? Or just have a shadow coming through it if it produces its own light? That's ridiculous, guys. It's not a hologram or a projection. It's solid. We can look at it. We can look at it through telescopes. We can look at it through cameras now. And the lenses are amazing you can get nowadays. I was saying that to my missus. I bet you like 20 years ago, even the top governments couldn't get images some YouTubers are getting. They're amazing. They're amazing. And how anyone can deny that that's a 3D object in space, the moon. They're just ignorant. They're just ignorant. Simple as that. I was listening to Spectacles. There's a YouTuber called Spectacles. You've maybe seen him on 3chan. He's a black and white sort of avatar, but really good conversation. He had a really good hangout. And not all flat Earth. There was a lot of good topics. Just refreshing to hear people bouncing off each other, not circle jerking. It's just so refreshing to hear that. Anyway, guys, I'm going to move on to showing you the moon stuff. I hope you all have a good night. Look at that. Okay, guys, this was Edinburgh, Scotland, on the 10th. Nearly a full moon. It's getting there, but there's still a slight. I think it was this one. I think it was 92 or something like that percent. I checked on time and date. This was Norway, January the 10th, 8:30 p.m. This is by Jan, YouTuber Jan. So as you can see, me and Jan are practically seeing the same moon because we're Northern Hemisphere. You see the features there? Crater there, the big one beside it, the wee one there. So you can see it's like a small one, a middle-sized one, and a big one. You move over to my one. See it? The small one, the middle-sized one, the big one. So me and Jan in the Northern Hemisphere are seeing exactly the same moon. She's maybe seen a wee bit different shade, a tiny, tiny percentage will be different because of where she is on the sphere. But we are seeing the same face, the same way around. When we look at Marvin's and Mr. B, I assume Mr. B is from the southern part of the world because his images are also flipped upside down from me and Jan in the north. So we're looking at upside down moons here in different hemispheres. Jan's got better photography than me. You know what? I'll mute that. I might get a copyright strike. Some really nice footage from Jan, but as you can see, the clouds, really cloudy in Scotland as well. It's hard to get a picture. But my moon was practically the same as this. So I want to thank Jan for this beautiful photography and the time she's taken to gather observable evidence, because I know not everybody that's doing this still believes in the globe. They're just doing it for their own mind. Oh, a lunar wave. You can see the way it's sort of. You see the way the screen shimmers and waves, and it's nothing to do with this lunar wave rubbish, guys. I don't know. I'm so surprised that so many people got sucked into the lunar wave hype just because they see one thing. It's like you can't repeat it. You can't repeat this lunar wave thing. You've just got to stick to what we know, what we can see every day. So obviously it's really cloudy in Norway. Oh, it's back again. There we go. Look at that. Look how bright that crater is. So guys, I don't think this is just a light. I don't think it's a disc. We see 59% of the face when it's full, so it's obviously spherical to some degree. It holds an XYZ axis in space. It must do. It must. It must be a 3D object in space, guys. No disc, no light. Simple. And some of this photography proves it. I think it proves it. If it's not proof, it's solid evidence. And some people can say it's not evidence. It's well, what have they got? People say to me in my comments, prove to me that's a solid object. Prove to me that's rock. Prove to me that's a 3D object in space. Well, do you know what I say to these people? Prove to me it's not. Prove to me it's not a 3D object in space. Prove to me it's not a solid object or rock or something. Prove to me it's not. Instead of telling me to tell you to prove, why don't you prove it yourself? I'm sick of these people asking me to prove it. Well, do you know what I say to them? Prove to me it's not. And they can't bring anything forward. They can't bring photography or anything. We're trying to gather evidence here and bring together photographic evidence we collected as people, independent researchers. And these idiots are saying, prove this, prove that. I've already explained there's some things you can't touch, but you can still observe the behavior. And I say it to these people that say, prove that water sticks to a ball. Prove water sticks to a ball. Do you know what I say? Prove it doesn't. And if they spray a football with a hose, I'll just say that's not the earth. That's a football, a flat football. You need a piece of land the same size as the earth and all the oceans to prove to me that water doesn't stick to the outside of the ball. So as much as they can say to you, prove to me water doesn't stick to the outside of the earth, well, you can just say to them, prove to me it doesn't, because it goes the same way. And the reason I'm doing this, guys, because flat earth, I've got away with it too long, picking on people, picking on kids as well, because they believe in the globe. And I heard earlier that we're criminals and we're destroying livelihoods. What the hell are these people talking about? What the hell are these people talking about? We're the scum of the earth, the lowest of the low, because I'm doing moon observations. It's only because it doesn't fit their narrative. Prove this, prove that. We just want to sit in a shed and talk about chemtrails and scaremonger everybody. Pathetic. Pathetic, guys. Anyway, back to Jean's footage. Lovely. Lovely stuff, Jean. I just wish I had a good camera like yours, but what I didn't get really, I'm happy for this, because whatever I miss in the clouds, Jean, because she's over in Norway and she's not that far away, like an hour's plane flight for me, probably. Or he, if it's a he, Jean. I'm sorry if you're a guy. But they're not that far away, so it's and we're practically on the same latitude, longitude, whatever it is. Like, I don't know who's higher. But it's good stuff, because I need footage from northern and southern hemispheres. Look at that big crater there, eh? Yeah, beauty. You can see look at that. You see there's something inside that crater as well. How creepy is that? Back in the old days, you wouldn't have been able to see this kind of stuff. Look at that. Amazing. Oh, it's shimmering like water. A lunar wave, everyone. I don't know what to give Jan she's hogging all the time. I might do a hangout after this, guys. Just a hangout where we can speak to each other about what's going on. I'm just going to make this hangout as a presentation hangout, but I might have one right after it, just so we can have a conversation with some of the people about what's going on. What was that? Oh, this is so that was Jan. This is now Marvin on the 10th. The 10th of January, 9:40 p.m. Look at that. Look how fast the moon actually, like, look how fast the Earth spins and the moon moves. It's crazy. Because that's what's happening, guys. We're spinning and the Earth's moving. And this is a problem I kind of come across when I think about the geocentric stuff. I know Tim Osman he kind of thinks it still could be non-spinning the globe. But when I look at the moon and the way we see it each day coming up through the phases, if we weren't spinning, how fast would the moon have to travel, Tim? I'm not sure. I'm just asking you a question, man. But if we weren't spinning, how fast would the moon have to travel around the Earth to get back to that phase? Um, so to me, I think looking at the phases kind of proves we're spinning as well. So, but it might not. It might not. Like I said, Tim really seems to believe that it could go either way. But I think it's kind of like, as I said, like Occam's razor, where we just think, is everything spinning or is it just us? Again, is everything spinning around us, or is it just us that's spinning? I think it's just us spinning, and everything seems to be spinning around us. It looks like the stars are rotating anti-clockwise and clockwise, but it's just the Earth in your perspective. But that's amazing footage again for Marvin, and you can see there, because it was the 10th in Australia. It's still not the full moon yet. He's still got the shade there, just hugging the right hand side. But that's the difference between north and southern hemispheres. The shadow in Jean's one is on the left, up here. The shadow is here, creeping on the left side. And you can see the right hand side's sharp because that's where the light's coming from. With Marvin's one, the shade's on the right hand side and the light's coming from the left. So it's quite conclusive, guys, that this is two different perspectives, one upside down from the other. As simple as that. That was awesome, Marvin. So that was a 10th. So this is Marvin. He compares his images to the time and date, and it's awesome. You've got all the times there, just to show you how accurate time and date is. We've got all this worked out. This all works on a spherical world. You couldn't do this. You couldn't do these predictions on a flat Earth. All these predictions that timeanddate.com do, you couldn't actually do this on a flat Earth. Well, that seemed pretty conclusive. So this was my rubbish photograph again. Was this tonight? This was tonight before midnight. Obviously, it's 1:26 here now. It's the 12th now, but this was tonight. As you can see, it's nearly a full moon. It's 99.5 or something like that. And I did put my timeanddate.com here, but it's went black. But anyway, you can see here Marvin's one, right? You see here Marvin's one. It's got the two big craters here, and the wee one there. And you can see it's like a face on its side. A wee bit. Look at that. My one, Marvin's one. My one, Marvin's one. I don't know, but I think Scotland started maybe getting I think we started getting a full moon sooner than. No, it wasn't sooner because I checked the time. We'll look at the time and date. I think they're just, even though Australia are 11 hours ahead, I think they're just a tiny wee bit ahead when it comes to the degrees in the shade. But there's Marvin's. It's practically a full moon now. It's practically a full moon. Just a tiny bit of shade. Look at that crater, eh? Thanks very much, Marvin, for doing this. It's really appreciated. It keeps me on my toes as well. I don't get lazy because when I see you guys putting up your new videos, that makes me obligated to make my presentation. So it keeps me going, guys. We all keep each other going. And it's great. I think this is a great way to gather observable evidence, and it's better than sitting in a shed talking shit with nothing, with no evidence at all. Anytime they're talking about something, they want to drop a link, some shilly link in the chat. Well, guys, ain't happening here. This is all going to be observable evidence, and it's all going to be referenced to flat Earth maps and to the globe to see if it works. Wax and gibbous, 98.3. Just a tiny, tiny wee bit of shade. It's the same here. We've not got a total full moon. We've nearly got a full moon. It's nearly a full moon. Amazing stuff, Marvin. So as you can see, Marvin's moon's just the same as Shan's, but upside down. So we've got that. Right, is this Mr. B stuff? Oh, this is Mr. B stuff, guys. You should see this. So Jan was there, then Marvin, and then this is Mr. B. Mr. B done it on the 9th. This is from the 9th of January onwards. Put some music on, actually. Let's put some music in this one. I hope this is royalty free, Mr. B. Enjoy, people. Enjoy our wondrous moon. It's amazing. How awesome was that, guys? I want to thank Mr. B for making that video just for me. What did he title it on YouTube? It's titled, is it Moon for Jedius, the Logic? Brilliant, Mr. B. And guys, when you look at, when I was watching that footage earlier, I don't care if I got a copyright strike for that. You had to have the music with it as well. It was amazing. I was looking at it, I was just, my mind was running away with me. It looked like there was valleys there. It looked like there maybe been like rivers, or even if it was lava, like rivers of lava, but it looked like there was just the geology looked like there was something cut through the rock, and the detail was unreal. I just couldn't get over like the little like sort of rocks inside the craters, and the shadows and everything. There's no doubt to me that that's a solid object. What it's made of, I don't know. But we can watch it every day. It's amazing. That blew me away, Mr. B's footage. That kind of stuff that we've got, the common man has got that kind of technology to see the moon. And we can't do our own observational evidence. We have to bicker. And to me, I'll actually show you, because Mr. B didn't put where he was. But just by looking at his moon, I knew he was Southern Hemisphere, because his moon was the same as Marvin's. My moon was the same as Jan's. So there was 2 Northern Hemispheres, and there was 2 Southern Hemispheres in that video. I'll show you again. I'll just quickly scan through it. So that was Mr. B's moon. You can see here a circular crater, the big one there. You can see it's practically the same as Marvin's. See the features, the craters. See Marvin's, it's just the same, guys. See, but that was earlier. That was on the 9th. This was on the 11th for Marvin. This was on the 9th for Mr. B. So they're seeing the same moon. They're seeing the same face. We're all seeing the same face. All of us, we're all seeing the same face. But me and Jan are seeing it upside down from Mr. B and from Marvin Sands. So, like I said, there's Jan's one. My one. Jan's one. My one. Jan's one. Marvin's one. And Mr. B's one. So, obviously seeing a moon that's flipped upside down. It's obviously a solid object. Mr. B's video is so detailed, the shadows, and if you know how light and shadows work, you know this is a 3D object in space. It's simple as that. So guys, that's observable evidence, real time, day by day, happening for you guys. Just to get, this isn't to convince anyone. This is to make you think. Debunk it if you want. But I've tried to debunk it myself. I've tried to apply what we are seeing to a flat Earth, and it doesn't work. It doesn't work. And then when I applied what we're seeing to the globe, everything works perfectly. Time and date works perfectly. It's becoming very conclusive here, guys. But I've got some more things to show. Don't you worry. I'll have a look at chat. I'll give you all a shout out. have a look. Right. We have Schlominger. How are you doing? Alex, Joy, Cheech, Richard Clark, P. Mars, Mr. B. Queensland. That's where he's from. Queensland, Australia. I knew he was from the Southern Hemisphere now, just by looking at the moon. And this is something I didn't know before. I didn't know that. How stupid was I? I didn't even realise that the moon is upside down in Australia. I thought I was Mr. Smarty Pants. Even watching the NASA stuff, I still didn't realise the moon was upside down in Australia. Even listening to school stuff, I still didn't realise the moon was upside down. It's not until you do your own observations, properly look at the moon, that you start realising this stuff, guys. Crazy. Joyce here. Angel Raven 444. Muscle Car Rock Lover. Earth Sweetheart. Richard Clark. How he's all doing tonight? P. Mars, did I mention you? Earth Sweetheart, thanks a lot for your compliments. And all we can do is keep presenting this observable evidence and waiting for Flat Earth to come with something back. Come up with something, Flat Earth. This is me asking you guys to come up with something, and don't come up with Selenian moons, because these are just phenomena. You won't put all your logic into a phenomena. You want to put your logic into something that's observable and repeatable. Like the moon, what we're doing right now is observable, repeatable, real time. We're bringing it to you guys so you can use it yourself. We don't have to go through data and all that stuff because we're doing it in real time. So, want to thank you all for coming. It's great to see yous. As you can see, I've turned off the moderators because there's been a high. I've heard there's been a lot of people not happy with moderators, and to be honest, I agree. I don't like all these moderators either. But it was just that one night that Laurie was in, and all the trolls came in, and I swear, guys, I had 90 odds people watching, and I've never got 90 odd people watching. So I reckon at least 50 of them were trolls, and they were all just trolling my chat. So I had to put in a moderator. But ever since, it's been cool. So I'll go with this format. But if it gets freaky again, guys, Delise, Laurie, these are both my first choice again. These will both be my moderators. But so far, everything's been cool. So if the people want no moderators, I'm happy with that. I'll moderate the chat, and if anyone's bringing nothing to the table, if people are just abusing certain people, I'll block them, I'll kick them. So I'll take full responsibility of anybody getting blocked or kicked. So there's no accusations the next day. When I try and have a hangout and there's accusations about people being blocked and muted and all this rubbish, I don't want that. So if there's anyone being blocked or muted, it's me. Aye, right. So right now, in Scotland, Edinburgh, this is where I live, guys. This is where I live. In the North Sea. I'm nearly at the Hyperboreas, or whatever the fuck they call it in Flat Earth. I'm in that region. 99.4%. Nearly a full moon. I think they're calling it a wolf moon. Is that a wolf moon? And where Marvin is right now, it's 99.6. So he's only a fraction. It's only a fraction ahead percentage-wise, which is funny. It's not unusual, but for being 11 hours ahead, you've still not got the full moon. We're practically going to get the full moon at the same time. And I've already showed this before, but we'll just recap that this is how the moon phases go in the northern hemisphere, and this is how they go in the south. As you could see with Marvin's and Mr. B's footage, it was the opposite. The shade was on the left-hand side, and in the north, it was on the right-hand side. So everything's flipped upside down, even the shade. You need to watch the shade. This is the important part, guys. The shadow during the phases, because this is a big one. This is a giveaway. This is what the sun can't do. The sun can't produce phases. The moon can, and we need to watch them and observe them if we want to know what's going on, guys. Here's some facts about the way the moon travels in the south and in the northern hemisphere. So this is what we're seeing. Me and Marvin are seeing opposites. But the features are the same on this, so this is wrong. The shadow's right. This is just explaining the phases, but the face would be upside down as well if it was north and south. Like this. This one's more accurate. Right. So what me and Marvin and Mr. B and Jan are seeing matches the timeanddate.com. Does it match? Does it match a flat earth? This is by CBS, Flat Earth AE 3D Animations. Feel free to use. So this dude doesn't mind using this. Right. So this is a way the sun and the moon would travel on a flat earth model, if they ever produce a model. But this is the only way they can get the sun and the moon to travel. And what's ridiculous for starters, guys, right? If this is how the moon and the sun went around the earth, how would we ever have a full moon? The light stops in a circle. How would the light get over here to hit the moon? So this is why they come out with stuff like the moon projects its own light, and it's just a luminary, or it's just a hologram, it's not real, because they can't explain when they make these models, when they do this light circling around like this, how the light's hitting the moon. Because we can see through the phases, it's obviously the sunlight that's hitting the moon. But any diagram they show you in flat earth, they show you like this circle of light spinning around, but it doesn't touch the moon, which doesn't make sense at all. So this kind of stuff here is like nothing that me and Marvin are seeing would match this at all. It's just, they've even put the stars in. So that right now, in Africa, people could see the dark side of the moon. People in South Africa could see the dark side of the moon, and people in North Africa could see the face. Like this is why this doesn't work. Nobody can see the backside of the moon. So they can't have this little moon floating above the earth. It's stupid. It's stupid. This is stupid. And that's why they can't. Martin tried to show us it, and I'll show you Martin's explanation as well. But it's just stupid. Once we understand how the moon travels in north and south, and it doesn't match this. It doesn't match it. Notice how they've got Australia way over there. It's a good attempt. I've got to admit, it's a good attempt. These models are kind of based on the Rob Skiba, one of his first ones where it looked like clockwork, and they had the months, they had the minutes and everything running down. It was a really sophisticated diagram. But Rob Skiba left out the light and the dark because it doesn't work. You can't make the light and the dark work, or the sun and the moon work on this kind of model, Because when we see the full moon, guys, and the sky's black and the moon's white, bright white, if we're under this enclosure, this dome, the rest of the sky would be lit up because it's hitting the moon. It'd be hitting the back of the dome as well. It does. Nothing works, guys, on this. Nothing works on this. It's stupid. And nobody can deny this is based on the azimuthal map, and this is based on what Antonio's kind of pushing. He's pushing the azimuthal map, just his own version of it. He's moved a continent a couple of degrees. I think it was Australia. But you notice how they pause and the moon's over here. So, it doesn't work on a flat earth, guys. It doesn't work. Right. So people below the equator, people like in North Australia, could look up to the south and see the moon or the sun. People in Australia would never see the sun north. People below the equator would never see. South. People in the equator would never see the sun south. People in the northern hemisphere see the sun south. It just doesn't make sense, doesn't it, guys? Like I said, people in South Africa would be seeing the backside of the moon. It's just, we'll be seeing all different faces of the moon. And we only see one face, guys. We only see one face of the moon. The same face. Me and Marvin and Mr. B, we all see the same face, but just flipped upside down. And these kind of flat earth models don't explain it. They don't. It's just stupid now. And people need to start understanding it. So we'll move on to Flat Earth British. Flat Earth British. Yeah, man, it's Flat Earth British. He's going to show me how the moon works, guys. Flat Earth British is going to show me how I'm wrong and he's right. Well, let's see what Flat Earth British has got to say.
The old Gleason's, the old real flat earth map that has been under contention for quite some time, because people say it is a fake because there's some spelling errors on it. So he didn't fucking have a great English education. He knew a thing or two about cartography though. Anyway, so remember then to put the moon in the position that we've seen it in, which is the southerly sky, very high up by there, okay? Okay, southerly sky, very high up by there. Don't keep the rabbit ears up, okay? So, here we go. It's turning, because your ball is, no, the retrograde motion, the moon's face is turning, and by the time it gets to Australia, it is upside down. And then it completes its course. By the time it gets back to the old UK.
So the time it gets back to the UK, people in South America are looking up at the backside of the moon. We never see the backside of the moon, guys. Martin, understand this, my friend. We never see the backside of the moon. I've noticed you've not used a ball. You've used a disc. Can you not decide what is, guys? A ball or a disc? Or is it just a hologram? So this is obviously wrong. People in Africa would be seeing the backside. The way he spun this spin, it doesn't work, guys. Just like that flat earth doesn't work either. So until they can produce a model that works, until they can explain these moon phases, the lunar eclipse, until they can explain the star rotations, why the stars rotate anti-clockwise in the northern hemisphere and clockwise in the southern hemisphere, These people haven't got nothing. They've got nothing. All they can do right now is attack me because I'm presenting observable evidence. So guys, I want to thank Mr. B, I want to thank Marvin and Jan and everybody else, the Ohio. There's one more thing here. Where was it? I'm going to share Josh Waz's video because it was a guy I was following when this guy I was following when I was quite into the flat earth experiments. I was enjoying all the things that people were doing in their living rooms and they were doing all these little things, and Josh Waz was leading the way when it came to like experiments at home. He was really leading the way, and I enjoyed a lot of his stuff. But he came to a brick wall, and he knows why he came to a brick wall, because nothing works. So I hope Josh Waz doesn't mind me sharing his video, because I think it's really good. He articulates himself like a utter gentleman. And we're just lucky we've got people like this critically thinking about flat earth as well, because these people loved the thought of flat earth. I love the thought of flat earth, guys, but we can't bury our head in the sands when we can look at observable evidence. We can't deny it. So I'll leave you with Josh Waz's video. I'll come back and check the chat, but watch this, guys.
Hello, YouTube. Most specifically, my 200 odd subscribers who thought that I had a pretty good idea and wanted to hear more. Well, here's more. The next stage of my stars model has to include a fixed visual limit for the eye, which in effect covers each individual observer in their own personal dome. This dome will receive a 90-degree wide section of the sky, which will then transpose onto this personal dome. This is due to the behavior of first-generation light, which is light that is direct from an extraterrestrial source and is unreflected and unrefracted. All light that enters our eyes is generally second or third generation light, and it is this light that travels in straight lines. We can never test this, of course, because as soon as first generation light is measured, it becomes second generation, and that means we'll never know what first generation is. Thus, the theory is unfalsifiable and not science, which is what you'll find all of flat Earth to be. It is not true, people, that the Earth, our planet, is flat. It is a ball within a star field. And the stars alone are what tell us this. Over a year ago, I almost fell for the hype, the mother of all conspiracies, but it was my experiments that led me to know that the Earth is spherical. My first video was me rambling, mostly incoherently, but we all know that feeling when we first got our fancy tickled about the possibility of a flat Earth. For my second video, I started doing some scaled experiments, which I noticed that no one else out there really has tried to do. And why not? Scaled experimentation is one of the truest versions of science. And I don't mean holding a lighter inside a glass bowl and calling it proof. I mean getting a large sphere or a large flat disk and getting imagery that can be compared to our existing imagery of our Earth. My third video, I tried really hard to envision a system where the conditions of the star field observations are met. I got pretty close, and it was a cool idea, but it is in no way near accurate to observable reality. So at this point, you have a few options. You keep believing that the Earth is flat, even though direct night after night observations tell you that it is round, or just bail out, curse yourself for almost falling for a clear psyop and go back to the sphere model. To be honest, I don't think it's crazy to ask the question. It's a good place to start your quest for truth. Is the Earth really round? How do you know for yourself, for certain? Well, the most conclusive way would be to observe the stars in the southern hemisphere, get into a plane and fly east or west, but remain in the southern hemisphere. Make more observations. Fly to the northern hemisphere and observe the stars in 2 random locations. The only way that these 2 different apparent rotations of the star field can occur is if we are on a spinning sphere or on a stationary sphere and the star field is spinning around us. If you don't understand this, then that's why you are falling for flat Earth. Like most of you, I'm sure I've seen hours of people arguing back and forth over horizons and lines and apparent horizons and refraction, up or down bending of light, and the flat Earth mainstay, perspective. But in the end, the stars tell us how it is. And the fact that the bigwigs never talk about this is proof that they are not interested in the truth. They are here, have no doubt, to fool you. A mainstay tactic is to tell you that you aren't open-minded, that you are sheeple and you haven't woken up yet. But then we actually enter a much more interesting phase of this conversation. Who is behind all of this? Flat Earth got super pushed across YouTube. None of us found it by accident or because we were looking for it. It was always a recommended video that hooked us in. I'm in agreement with a general consensus that it is being pushed out to divert truthers' attention and to fracture the truth movement in general. In hindsight, it is a masterstroke, but by whom? Can we really believe that it happened organically and the bigwigs actually believe in flat Earth themselves? Is it just me, or do they seem like they are lying and being intentionally misleading and intentionally stupid when someone is explaining a very simple concept to them? It seems then that the bigwigs are being paid to be there, being paid to be dumb, and being paid not to turn around and admit to YouTube that they are wrong and that the Earth is a sphere. They couldn't be making much money from YouTube revenue, so they must have another source. It may also not be a truly nefarious thing. It could just be a game, an internet YouTube reality show, where the twist is that you don't even know that you are in it. It's not so crazy. The bigwigs are the producers, and their job is just to keep people engaged. And it's why they actually don't want answers. They don't want experiments or proof to confirm the sphere. They'll just keep referencing each other's videos and when they need to. And it's always just be able to say that, oh, well, no, I don't agree with that part of what they say. And so if they keep circular referencing each other, nothing is really going to happen, is it? How has it been 2 or more years with no flat earther actually doing anything, revealing anything, making anything more clear than it was in the beginning? Just stop for 1 second. They have no usable map. There is no explanation for the stars, and there are befuddled and meandering explanations of why even the sun rises and sets. Which brings us to the globe. It's beautiful. Everything works exactly as we here on the ground see it. We live on a sphere, and our spherical model maps every observation perfectly. Why don't flat earthers like this? Why do you want it to be flat and have to fracture your brain trying to do the mental backflips to make a flat model work, when the sphere is actually really easy to understand? And when we look out to the sun and moon and other planets, it's really, really obvious. In conclusion, the Earth is a sphere. The stars say so.
How awesome was that, guys? I just want to thank Josh Watt. He just published it, I think it was today, or published on the 10th of January. And I've been following him a while because, like I said, he was doing good experiments to begin with. He was trying to prove the flat Earth as well. But he went quiet for a while, and he came out with this video, and it just, the way he worded it, it was beautiful. It was beautiful, guys. And this is what's been good about this whole thing that I'm doing with the moon, that I've had a large Australian contingency as well. I'm not saying Josh Wa's been with us. I've not really seen him too much in chat, but this view from people in Australia in the Southern Hemisphere gives me a total new outlook on my reality. And most people I spoke with were Northern Hemisphere, and they were seeing the same things I was seeing. When you speak to people in the Southern Hemisphere about everything's reversed. And I can't work in any flat Earth model yet. So that's why I can't even work on a map. If they can't create it in 2D, they'll never create it in 3D. They'll never get the star trails to work, northern and southern. They'll never explain lunar eclipses or what the moon, why the moon behaves the way it does and why we can predict it on a globe and we can't predict it on the flat Earth. Even the tropics, like, and perspective, like the moon would shrink if it was disappearing. If it was going in circles, the moon would shrink, then get bigger as it got closer, then shrink. Same with the sun. And then the southern hemisphere, in the summertime, when the sun's going round the outer edge, in the northern hemisphere in the summertime, the sun's going like that. So the two differences in the tropics of Capricorn and Cancer, don't explain. The flat Earth can't explain it. There's nothing, guys. You all need to go do your own research, your own observations. Hopefully this is a new way of thinking about the flat Earth and the globe, just the Earth in general. We just stop listening to the bigwigs in NASA. We stop watching all the NASA stuff because people can't trust them. We stop watching all these charlatans in flat Earth, and we start doing our own stuff and bringing it together and comparing. And if it proves a flat Earth, cool, that'd be cool. But it's, to me, everything's matching spherical Earth. You can't deny it, and if you do, you're dishonest with yourself, or you want to be part of this. Anyway, guys, I'm going to wrap it up there. I hope you've had a good week, and don't be surprised if I have a hangout after this. I might just have a hangout after this. Just if anyone wants to come on and tell me I'm wrong, or to tell me or show me evidence that you've taken over the past few days, because that's what we've been doing, collecting evidence, observable evidence. It's not proof, but it's evidence. If people can come on and show me evidence for their argument, for their flat Earth, I'd like to see it. And if they can come on and screen share the photographs and tell me how it matches the flat Earth, come on. I'll send you a link if you send me. But I know certain people are just trolls and shills. So there will be people that won't get the link because I know who they are. But I think my next hangout is going to be a dialogue with some flat earthers, globers, whoever. Maybe have a mix. Maybe have two flat earthers, two globers, and we can talk it out, guys. And we can try and talk it out the way it was spoken on Spectacles hangout, like grown-up adults, intellectual. I'm not an intellectual in no way, but I'd like to think that I can hold my own in a conversation, especially about this subject, because I've been so deep into it. And you need to look at both sides, guys. You need to look at the globe and the flat Earth. The thing with flat earthers, they've been stuck so long in flat Earth. They've been lazy to look at the globe stuff, and they're just looking at what the flat Earth is pushing out every day and forgetting. And the time has come now for people who believe in the sphere to know their own world as well. People that believe in the sphere are idiots as well, because they don't know how to argue back with these flat earthers. A flat earther comes up to them and says a flat earth fact, and a person that believes in the sphere goes like, I don't know. And I was the same. I didn't know a lot of things about my own world. The sunsets, the sunrises, the equinoxes, everything. I must have ignored so much in school. But when a flat earther hit me with a few facts, or I watched my own videos and watched the flat earth stuff, I was baffled. But that was because I was ignorant of my own world. And it's time now that when a flat earther comes up to you, says things to you, well, you can say stuff back with them and get a good debate going. It's the end of this, ha ha ha, I'm on a high horse, I can speak down to you and you can just go away. It's about time we got a debate going. And I'd like Del from Beyond the Imaginary Curve to come on and present anything that contradicts what I'm presenting with the moon or with the star trails or with eclipses. Talking about chemtrails, and that's just another diversion, I feel. I feel that's a diversion. Chemtrails. What else? Laurie, I don't know what's happened to you if you're still... Oh, okay, do you know what? Have a look at chat before I go. But like I said, I might just have a hangout where people come on. And if it gets sniped, it gets sniped. And at least my moon footage and everything I've presented tonight doesn't get lost, because I'll just delete it if it gets sniped. I just delete the hangout. But if I shut this one down, that means this is saved, and I'll open the next one. If it gets sniped, it gets sniped. Okay, guys. Hope you have a great week. Take care.